All right, let's talk about mastering Macbeth. If you're studying for your IGCSs, you're in the right place. We are about to break down one of Shakespeare's most intense tragedies into 5 simple pillars that are going to get you totally prepped for exam day.
So let's be real for a second. Is Shakespeare's language just making your head spin? Are you staring at a blank page for your essay, just wondering where on earth to even begin? Trust me, you are not alone. Macbeth is complicated, it's bloody, it's brilliant, and really getting it is the absolute key to hitting those top marks.
But hey, don't you worry, because that's exactly what we're going to sort out today. By the time we're done here, you will have a solid grip on the 5 most crucial parts of this play, the parts you need to know to walk into that exam feeling confident.
We're going to start with the plot and the must-know scenes. Then we'll dive into the key characters. After that, we'll unpack the big ideas, the themes. Then we'll look at all the tricks in Shakespeare's toolkit, and to finish it all off, I'm going to give you a foolproof strategy for your exam essay. Sound good? Let's do this.
First up, pillar number 1, the plot. Look, before you can analyze anything, you've got to know the story inside and out. So let's do a quick fly-through of Macbeth's journey, from that first prophecy all the way to his downfall, across 5 acts.
So in Act 1, the witches plant the seed with their prophecy, and Macbeth's ambition just catches fire. Act 2 is where it all goes wrong. He murders King Duncan, and bam, the guilt hits him instantly. By Act 3, he's paranoid, has his friend Banquo murdered, and his tyranny really takes hold. In Act 4, he goes back to the witches, and they feed him these tricky prophecies that make him feel completely invincible. And that false confidence leads straight to his downfall in Act 5, where everything unravels, the prophecies come true in ways he never saw coming, and he's finally killed by Macduff. It's just a fast, brutal spiral into total chaos.
Okay, so with the plot down, let's build on that with pillar 2, understanding the characters. Seriously, almost every exam essay is going to ask you about a character, so knowing what drives them and how they change, well, it's absolutely essential.
Now, one of the most incredible things Shakespeare does here is this complete flip between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. He starts off as the celebrated hero, right? Valiant. But his ambition just rots him from the inside out. Lady Macbeth, on the other hand, she starts as the tough, ruthless one, pushing him to commit murder. But in the end, she's the one who's completely shattered by guilt. They basically trade places psychologically. It's a genius way to explore how guilt is this inescapable human thing, and to mess with the typical ideas of what it means to be strong or weak.
So let's zoom in on Macbeth himself. What's his driving force? He tells us himself. It's his vaulting ambition, this burning desire for power that's so intense it just steamrolls his own sense of right and wrong. We literally watch his best quality, his bravery, get twisted into this ugly paranoia. He goes from being a noble general to a bloody tyrant. He is the definition of a classic tragic hero, a great man with one fatal flaw that brings about his own ruin.
And this quote, this is the point of no return. Right after he's had Banquo killed, he has this chilling realization. He says he's waded so deep into a river of blood that turning back would be just as hard as continuing. He's trapped by his own violence. It shows us how one evil act leads to another and another, pulling him deeper and deeper. It's a massive moment for his character.
Now, let's look at Lady Macbeth. Her motivation is also ambition, but at first it's all for her husband. Her key trait is this iron-willed, ruthless determination. I mean, she calls on spirits to unsex me here, to strip away her femininity so she can be cruel. But her journey is a complete collapse. This powerful woman who planned a king's murder is later driven absolutely mad, tormented by the phantom smell of the blood on her hands.
And her sleepwalking scene. Wow! This quote is the ultimate window into her broken mind. She once told Macbeth, "A little water clears us of this deed." But now she's desperately trying to wash away an imaginary spot of blood that no one else can see. It's powerful proof that you can't just brush guilt aside. It seeps into your soul and destroys you from the inside out.
Okay, let's move on to pillar 3, the core themes. Think of these as the huge ideas Shakespeare is wrestling with. If you can weave these into your essays, you're showing the examiner that you get the play on a much deeper level.
First up, and this is the big one, is ambition. Specifically, how destructive unchecked ambition can be. Macbeth even admits it. He says the only thing motivating him, his only spur, is his ambition. Shakespeare is basically giving us a giant warning sign about how a single desire, when it isn't guided by morals, can absolutely ruin a person.
Next up is guilt. And in this play, guilt isn't just a bad feeling. It's an active, destructive force. It's what makes Macbeth hear a voice cry that he has murdered sleep,
destroying his own peace of mind, and it's what makes Lady Macbeth see blood that isn't there. For both of them, their guilt is a relentless internal form of torture. Then, of course, there's the supernatural. The three witches really kickstart the whole story. Their chant, "Fair is foul and foul is fair," immediately throws us into a world where nothing is certain. But here's the key question. Do they make Macbeth evil? The answer is no. They act more like a catalyst. They just give a voice to the dark ambition that was already hiding inside him.
And that leads perfectly into our final theme, appearance versus reality. In Macbeth's world, nothing is what it seems. Lady Macbeth gives him this classic piece of advice. Look like an innocent flower, but be the serpent hiding underneath. This whole idea of hiding your true dark intentions is a thread that runs through the entire play.
So, we've got the plot, the characters, and the themes. Pillar 4 is all about how Shakespeare actually gets these ideas across to us. This is his dramatic toolkit, and analyzing it is the secret weapon for any question that starts with, how does Shakespeare? Think of it like this. Shakespeare paints with words, and he uses certain images over and over. Blood is everywhere, a constant physical reminder of guilt that can't be washed away. He constantly uses darkness and night to create a space for evil deeds to happen. Sleep comes to symbolize innocence and peace, something the Macbeths completely lose. And all the weird, unnatural things happening in nature, like storms and earthquakes, they reflect the unnatural act of killing a king.
One of his most important tools is the soliloquy. This is where a character is alone on stage, speaking their inner thoughts directly to us. It's like we get a backstage pass to their brain. Macbeth's famous "Is this a dagger which I see before me" speech isn't just about him seeing things. It's Shakespeare's way of showing us his tortured mind, that massive internal struggle between his ambition and his conscience right before he does the terrible deed.
Shakespeare also masterfully uses dramatic irony to crank up the tension. This is when we, the audience, know a crucial piece of information that a character on stage doesn't. So when King Duncan shows up at Macbeth's castle and calls him a peerless kinsman, we're all sitting there knowing Macbeth is about to murder him. It creates this awful, powerful feeling of dread and just pulls you right into the story.
And here we are, the final pillar, number 5, putting everything we've talked about into practice to absolutely ace your exam essay. This is the game plan, your strategy for getting those top marks.
The simplest, most effective way to structure your paragraphs is the PEEL method. It's super straightforward. You start with your point, a clear statement that answers the question. Then you provide evidence, usually a short, well-chosen quote. Next, and this is the important part, you explain it. You analyze the language, the imagery, and you explain the effect it has. Finally, you link it all back to your main argument and the play's bigger themes. Trust me, it works every time.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. To get a top grade, you can't just retell the story. You have to analyze how Shakespeare is creating meaning. You need to be a detective. Always ask yourself, why did he choose that word? Why use the image of blood right here? What is he trying to make the audience feel?
So there you have it. At its heart, Macbeth is this timeless, powerful warning about how ambition, when it's left to run wild, can completely poison the human mind and lead to nothing but destruction. So I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. What do you think is the play's single most important lesson for us right here in the world today?